Hello Librans, this is Luke Voulgarakis from LV Life and welcome to your quick tarot for the month of June 2024. If you'd like to go back and look at your May tarot, it's always worth doing that. It's a quick tarot, so it just takes 5 minutes and then you can see if any of that stuff came into fruition for you. I'd love to hear all about it. So let's see what we've got. The first one that came out here was the Hanged Man. The second one that came out is the King of Wands. And the third one that came out is the Six of Pentacles, and these are all upright, which means a lot of stuff going on in your external world. Good stuff. Let's have a look here. So when we see this Hanged Man, what you can see is this Hanged Man isn't being hung. He's chose to hang himself, but by the ankle, right? He's not being hung by his neck. And he's doing it almost kind of in jest or joy here. He looks pretty comfortable and happy, right? But what you can see is this sun shining around his head. And this is really about you starting to challenge your belief system a little, starting to reverse your thinking and look at the world from a different viewpoint, a different perspective. That's why this Hanged Man has hung himself, is so that he can change his perspective on the world. So I do think that there is a shift here in what you thought you knew or what you thought you believed, and then starting to look at things a little bit differently, perhaps even like an awakening, like an eye-opening of, well actually, things could be different to what I've always been led to believe, always thought. And then we've got this King of Wands. So a king is someone who, the throne is his birthright, and he sits here with his wands, which are manifestation or creation. So I have a feeling that when we pair this with a Hanged Man, like perhaps there's been some stuff like waiting for you, perhaps predestined, perhaps your birthright, stuff been waiting to come into fruition for you, but until you could see things in a certain way, until you could perhaps lose some of that stubbornness or some of that kind of reluctance to see things in a different way, or holding on to previous thought patterns or even habitual patterns, like that wasn't ready to present. And I think that now that you're starting to look at things a bit differently, perhaps even behave a little bit differently, things are starting to come into fruition for you. Like your throne is starting to be presented to you. Things that you think or thought that you always wanted are perhaps coming into fruition, but in a slightly different way to what you thought you always wanted, in a better way, because the universe always has better ideas than we do. So I think that stuff is really starting to happen for you, but it's only happened because of this shift, this change that the Hanged Man has provided. And then we've got this Six of Pentacles, which is the restoring balance and giving back. And so perhaps if some of this, prior to reversing your views and thoughts on things or your actions, perhaps you maybe recognize now that you did some damage. Perhaps maybe your belief systems weren't for everyone. I mean, no one's belief systems for everyone, but I mean perhaps you were a little bit too bolshy with it, or a little bit dogmatic, and now you're starting to see things a bit differently, or starting to behave a bit differently. You're starting to have a different viewpoint, and perhaps that viewpoint is the way that others have potentially seen you in the past, a past version of you. And I think there's an opportunity here to start restoring some balance in that respect, perhaps start revisiting some of those old hurts or challenges or traumas that you have faced, and making amends there, perhaps giving back a little, and that's that restoring of balance, right? But also I think that from a physical perspective, this is going to make your world a better place. Like, you're going to feel more whole, you're going to feel more aligned, more settled, and also more able to then help and support others too, not just yourself. So I think there's a whole journey here, this kind of real shift in the person that you are, shifting into the person that you're really meant to be. So yeah, I'm really intrigued to hear about perhaps what spurred that, what's brought that on, or where you're at with that journey. So please do leave me a message or a comment, And if you'd like to have a private reading, you can visit me at lukevoulgarakis.com, and I'll pop that information in the comments and description. And now, if you'd like to, I'd love it if you would like follow, subscribe, share, all the things that we do here on social media, whatever platform you're on, that are totally free and help me to grow my channels. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful month.